So the Dexter revival is here. I was an enormous fan of Dexter.
Me too.
While it was airing, and much like most people, and I'm not typically the bandwagoner. You know, I was a fan of the last season of Game of Thrones. I know a lot of people disagree with me heavily on that. Now, do I think it could have been longer and it could have been more fleshed out? And sure, whatever. But I liked what I got, so I'm happy. Dexter Season 8, on the other hand, I did not like what I got, like, at all. I thought it was pretty abysmal. I didn't think it matched up. Like, I hate to make this comparison because I don't want to talk too much about it, but like with Game of Thrones, I feel like everything played out the way it was gonna play out, and it felt right to what was gonna happen. Like all the characters made decisions to me that made sense for their characters. And so even though it may have felt rushed, it still ended in a way that I would have expected it to. Even if it was unexpectedly, it felt right. With Dexter Season 8, nothing felt right to me. Everything felt wrong. The way Dexter acted, the way, Deb acted, the way everybody acted. It just didn't work at all for me. Like the whole season, I was so uninterested. The thing I was the most interested in, which is crazy, was Masuka's daughter and whether or not she was swindling him or not. And they don't even have any kind of climax to that.
Yeah.
They're just buddy at the end. And I was like, oh, so you're not even gonna address that at all. They're just good now.
Yeah.
What? You couldn't even close that correctly? I was so annoyed, and I could go on a tangent of all the things I hated about that season, whether it's Dexter driving a fucking boat into the middle of a hurricane so strong that it broke his boat in half, but he swam back to shore. Come on. The fact that he took his sister's dead body right out of the hospital with no one noticing. The fact that he killed someone in police lockup on camera.
Yes.
And they just are like, just let it slide. The fact that he ditches, this is the worst of all by far. The fact that he doesn't want his kid to be raised by a serial killer, so he leaves his kid with a serial killer who tried to kill him and his sister just recently.
Yeah.
Without telling her.
Yeah.
Leaving it to chance on if she would even want him. The insanity of that.
It makes no sense whatsoever. I think the only argument is that Dexter is, although functioning, insane in certain ways. And I know it's a cop-out answer.
It's a cop-out.
But that's the only thing that you can really use to explain it, is that, and it's, to be fair, it's kind of not mimicked, but it's sort of touched on in this first episode of him not really, he has attachment issues. He doesn't really, he wants to be a dad, but he also doesn't, he feels like his very presence and existence in somebody's life is going to get them killed if he loves them, right? He has that fear. And that's core to his personality. So that's, the only thing, right? He goes through this trauma with Deb dying and abandons his son.
Don't try to explain season 8 to me.
No,
it's just not happening.
I'm not.
But if we're gonna have to make it
just
work,
as much as you did, but that's just my devil's advocate argument, which again is a cop out one.
Sure.
It's not great. It's not the one I prefer.
No,
but
no. He's a monster, but he's an evolving monster, as he says in this.
Yeah.
I still hate season 8. I'll pretty much always hate it, but it is what it is. But I will say this, and I know you already agree with me on this. A fantastic first start to this show. This feels like the original Dexter. Yes. This feels like that character. And they've had almost 10 years to work on this. I don't know when they started working on this, when this revival came to be, when the thought of it came up. But it feels like they brought it back for a reason, right? A lot of the times it's the cash grab. Now, I've said before, almost everything's a cash grab. Producers only produce movies to make money. But there's a difference between, a legitimate sequel that actually has heart to it and needs to exist or feels natural to exist versus a how do we bring this back? It made money.
Yes.
And that is very prevalent in many properties. But with this one, I definitely feel like this is a natural next step. Dexter is in some kind of a rehabilitation into himself. He's taken this kind of permanent, hopefully, sabbatical from killing people. Now, we know with this show that that's not going to continue. That was his intention on becoming a fucking lumberjack. But he is no longer a lumberjack. He works for a gun store.
Yeah.
A hunting store, which of course makes perfect sense since he was a hunter.
Yes.
This is something that he would know
Yes, he
very
has an
well.
affinity for it, for
Yes.
sure.
You know, so he's definitely qualified.
Yeah.
Now, they don't know that what he was hunting was not animal. I guess humans are animals.
Yeah.
Especially the ones
game.
Yeah, especially the ones he was killing.
Oh, yeah.
And that's another thing here. Dexter is known for killing horrible people, and we found yet another dreadful piece of shit
Oh my gosh, yeah.
in this. And I do think that this is going to have massive repercussions because the kid does say,
Absolutely.
like, hey, you know who my fucking dad is. He's coming for you. And
Yeah.
it's like, yes.
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dexter is fucked with the wrong person for sure, and that will be the villain of this
Absolutely.
show, is that kid's father, in my summation so far.
Yes, I agree with you. I'm excited for it though. I'm there for it. I think that there's a lot going on with the father that is going to be revealed. I have some suspicions about what he's like, which I think we talked about during one scene.
We don't think, I would assume that it's the billionaire
Yeah.
that's in town, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It has to be.
Yeah.
They don't say that it is.
Oh.
I don't think. Do they? Do they outright say it's that billionaire that's in town? To me, it has to be.
I thought it was said that that's who
Is
it
that
was,
said?
But
I just
or
put
at
that. I
least,
just thought I put that together.
maybe we did just put that together. I don't know, but I assume that's who it is. I guess if it's not said,
It's got to be.
So
him.
I don't see
would
who
be
else
shocked
could
if
be.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
Like they're both in town together. He
Right.
says his name.
Yeah.
So yes, they definitely do.
So-
I just didn't make the correlation because they say the name in the sporting goods store, and then they say the name of him when he walks out of the restaurant.
Right.
And I'm assuming those are the same names.
Yes.
But I don't know if he says like, "Hey, my dad's the billionaire," but it's
No,
got to be.
he doesn't say anything like that. It's just like I think the name thing.
Sure.
So-
We'll have to go back and look at that.
Yeah.
I'm sure they do line up.
Yeah.
But if they don't, that would be interesting.
Right.
Because I would assume this has got to be the same guy. Anyways. Yeah. So one thing I'm really enjoying about this episode is that I've always had a huge issue with trailers. And from what I saw of this New Blood trailer, is mostly in this first episode.
Yeah, which is great.
Which is fantastic.
Since there's
you
no
know?
spoilers for later episodes.
I did see
and-
some things. I won't say what they are because I'm sure you already forgot what they were.
I did actually. I've forgotten a lot of the trailer, but I did remember that there were scenes. I remember the scenes from this episode when I saw them. I'll say that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
and-
I knew the cop was his girlfriend.
Right. Yeah.
So when she
'Cause
pulls him
there's-
over, I'm like, okay, get to it.
But it's nice to have the majority of your scenes in your trailer be from the first or even second episode. To kind of, like I said, avoid spoilers for later episodes. So.
Yeah. My favorite thing about this show is something that I had guessed and hoped would be part of this show, and it was revealed in the trailer, is that Deb is his dark passenger
Yes.
now and not Harry anymore.
Which is fantastic.
Which is great because, I think I love Michael C. Hall and I love Dexter. I love his character and this and that for sure. And he's kind of the heart of the show, sure. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's the titular character and whatnot. But for me, I thought that Jennifer Carpenter's Deb here was, to me, the best performance in the show. I thought that she kind of reminds me almost of Claire Danes' character in Homeland, where it's just kind of this very uneven person who is kind of trying to do the right thing, but is, letting her emotions and her instabilities get the best of her. Obviously, Deb had much different ones. I don't think you've ever seen Homeland.
No, I haven't.
Claire Danes' character is fucking insane.
Okay.
But the performances are of the same caliber to me.
Yeah.
And Deb is a very complex character who has a very horrible dating life throughout that show, and ends up killing Deb. And that was another thing I hated about season 8 is Deb was my favorite character, and I thought her death was just shit. I wasn't into it. I was like, this is how you're getting rid of her. Like, no. But it's cool that they kind of already had a built-in way to bring her back.
Yes, I love that. I think that's a neat mechanism to have in a story. And her being his dark passenger is just like, I'm so excited to see, he's, is he going to listen to her? Obviously, maybe not as much as we would like, but it's cool because his dark passenger is, it's like his moral conscience, right? Like, sure. It's obviously not really her, it's him, but it's just very interesting to see, and I think it's a cool way to show a character having this kind of, mental split.
Another thing that I think is good about this that shows the necessity for this show to me is that Jennifer Carpenter and Michael C. Hall did agree to return together since they were married and divorced, and I could definitely see her being like, I don't want to come back, but like if I feel like the story's strong enough that she would be like, oh, I gotta be a part of this. I don't know what terms they're on, so I'm just totally guessing here. I could be full of shit on that. They could be the best of friends and have this completely amicable split. They have enough amicability to, is that a word?
Amicability? No.
Probably not a word.
I don't think so. But I like it.
It's good to be. Could be a word.
It could be.
Google
it's a word now. Amicability?
Yeah. They could be good enough with one another. We don't know. But regardless, that's just off the top of my head there for a second. But yeah, so I can only assume that the new blood in the title is his son, Harrison, shows up, and he's going to train him to be a killer, much like he did with Lumen, even though Lumen was only out for revenge and walks as soon as she gets her vengeance, and then he meets Hannah McKay, and Hannah is this fucking sociopath and will kind of live that life with him.
Yeah.
So I don't think Dexter's capable of being a proper role model, and he's given in. He's embraced it again. He's killing now, and he's not gonna just be like, no, I can't do it again. Yeah. The cat's out of the bag, man.
Well, yeah, and you made a really good comment, too, where it's like, he's an addict, right? Like, it's every day you're thinking about it. So, I think it was neat to see him struggle with, like, trying to... Because this is what he does, right? He tries to mask and, like, fit into regular society and, assume, like, a sense of normalcy. But beneath all of that, he's Dexter. He is a sociopath. He is a killer.
Sure.
And so no matter how much he fights it, like eventually those urges come out, because it's also very different. As much as he is an addict, I feel like there is a clear difference between, killing people and drinking alcohol.
Sure. But it's still hitting those same centers of the brain. Right?
Yeah. I guess I just mean like, there's maybe other things that you can do, like if you're an alcoholic or a drug addict, that can kind of...
We can go talk about it, right? You can't tell people you're killing people.
Well, first,
so that's hard.
First there's that, right? Like you can connect to other people and have like a sense of group connection, but also you can do other things that are just as addictive, but maybe could be considered like less bad, like shopping or whatever. And not that they are less bad.
You replace one addiction with another, sure.
But with killing, I guess that's what I mean, is that the intensity, it's like, what can you do?
Well, I think we see him do. He's hunting this deer,
animals,
right?
Yeah. But it's not enough.
It's not
and
enough.
It doesn't fit the code.
Right.
Like he, in fact,
He kills that guy because he kills the deer.
Because the deer did
He's like,
nothing.
what that fucking deer do to you?
Yeah.
Like, So, absolutely.
So, yeah, it's, I think, a lot harder for him to manage his addiction because there is no replacement for it.
Right, and he very much does not want to break this, this sabbatical, as they called it. He's done with this. Like,
yeah.
Is a sabbatical permanent or not? That's
no, sabbatical is like a short.
It's a short term.
Yeah,
thing. Okay.
I don't know though. I actually think he kind of was wanting to. I feel like he was feeling a bit bored and a bit like complacent.
I think he always wants to, but like when
Yeah.
the kid is revealing his secrets to him,
Sure.
and he's like, "You want to know what he did?" and he's like, "No, not really."
Yeah.
Like he's like, "Don't tell me,"
Because he's like, I
'Cause
know what
wanna-
I'll do.
I want to fucking kill him if
Yeah.
you do this. I
Yeah.
don't want to know.
Yeah.
Which feels very genuine to how he's
Yes.
trying to, stay away from this.
Yeah, I think he's split. I think that there's a part of him that wants to, like you said, always, and a part that is just like, don't. Like, I can't control myself.
I feel like the kid in this that he kills is a person that every one of us in our lives at one point has wanted to kill. Like,
Yeah.
we've all met this
Yeah.
guy.
Well, that's the thing with Dexter is that he is this weird anti-hero because
Yes.
he's killing, criminals and bad people that
But we don't run into a lot of the kinds of people that he kills in this show.
Yeah.
But this guy, the Wall
this
Street
guy,
dickhead who
trust
just like,
fund baby, absolutely.
oh my God,
Absolutely.
we've all met
Like,
people like this. I have like
privileged
2-3 of them in my
asshole.
head right now that I'm like, oh my God, when you're around them, you're like, there's just no purpose for you on this planet. Like, you are just such a waste of space and are such a, like,
Yeah.
you're so awful to everyone around you.
Yeah, and definitely, he commits manslaughter. Actually,
Yes.
murder, specifically murder.
Yeah, he specifically
and-
turns the boat
yeah.
into the guy on purpose.
And
killing
gets away with
5
it.
people,
Yeah,
right?
because his dad is paying off everybody
And then-
to keep a secret for him. So
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's $2,000 a day. his friend is
Cockface?
getting.
No, it's
Yeah.
$2,000 a week.
Oh yeah, you're right. A week a day. Oh my God, that'd be.
$2,000 a day, man. Shit, I'll take the blame. $2,000 a day.
Yeah.
Cockface or Dickface? Do you think it's
I
Dickface?
thought. Yeah, I think it was Dick Face.
Whatever it is, it's not the
Anyway,
name you
he-
want. I don't know if
yeah.
that scar looks like a dick, but the people who
Kinda
are around him
wish
are
it was-
dicks.
But yeah, they would definitely.
So they're
make fun of him
projecting
for it.
who they are onto him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's funny to me because it's a build, and it's the deer that sends him over, right? It's all this horrible shit he does, and he's like, but then and of course I called that.
Yes.
The deer was gonna get shot. I was like, it's coming. That deer's getting shot by this dick. Now, why he's out there hunting by himself seems pretty convenient,
Sure.
since he's supposed to be hunting with his bros. Like, that's the whole point of him out there. And he's like gloating. It's all about showing off who's got the bigger gun, as Dexter points out to him to give him a little dig. So I do find that to be a tad convenient that he's out there by himself. But it's for the convenience of the show. It is what it is. I just can't see him out there alone. I just can't.
Yeah, I definitely thought that his friends were going to come out. So I was kind of surprised when that didn't happen. But, there's a chance that somebody did see and, watched it happen. Like maybe his friend, right, was with him and saw and then just kind of like hid and was like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That could be a possibility, but I'm very glad he died. I did not like him at all. So.
Oh, God, he was awful.
He was
I was pretty surprised that he revealed himself to be Dexter to Harrison so quickly when he arrived at the bus stop. I was pretty surprised by that, but it makes sense if this show is the new blood, you know, or new blood. Because we can only assume that he's going to train this kid, as I had said, to be the next Dexter, that he's going to give him a code. See, what I'm wondering is if Dexter, because he witnessed the murder of his parents and it was more of a nurture thing, I guess is what you'd call that.
Yeah, like
the
an
nature versus nurture.
factor,
Right.
yeah.
That he witnessed these horrible things and that's what happened to him, although his brother was there with him as well, right? And that's why he becomes the ice truck killer.
Yeah.
So now Harrison was with Hannah, right? Maybe she killed some people. Will there be more of a nature thing going on here where the kid's like, I have tendencies, and Dexter's like, what tendencies? Like, let's talk about it. And, because I think we're going to play around with that Dexter is the new Harry, right? And then he's gonna try to hone in. Or is it going to be that Dexter's trying to make him into a murderer?
That's what I was gonna say, where he's just like legitimately wants to be with him, but doesn't have any of those tendencies, and Dexter's kind of like, well, this is who I am, so I'm gonna like teach you how to do it, and Harrison is reluctant in some way. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we have enough really to go on yet, because we haven't really had a lot of interaction with Harrison and Dexter.
Very little.
It's been very minimal. So the next episode I think will reveal some more about like what the tone or what like what the plan is with that. But I'm curious. I'm really curious and excited for sure.
Will Dexter introduce Harrison as his son to his girlfriend? Will he keep him secret completely? Will he like say, hey, this is my friend's son?
Yeah.
Or like what will happen there?
Maybe Harrison will start dating his girlfriend's daughter.
Oh, sure.
Right? Like
sure.
they'll be,
that's definitely very plausible, and probably that's a good call. That's more than likely what will happen. Now, I guess the question to me would be, is Dexter dating a cop because he misses the force, or is it some kind of, natural, or not, well, is it a way for him to kind of keep himself protected?
I think it's both for sure. I think it's probably primarily that, to be honest, but I think that there is a part of him that is, kind of nostalgic for his old life. So I think both of those make sense. And I was actually, I was thinking about that while we were watching it. It's like, so he's dating her so he can kind of keep tabs on if the FBI or whoever coming after him.
Yes, that's
obviously.
what I'm saying.
Yeah. But then also I was thinking, like, I mean, when he goes to the, the police office, and it's very different, right? Because he was in Miami, which was a lot of crime and a lot of stuff going on, and this is a super tiny town.
Yeah, people's pies were stolen.
Yes, it's so
podunk.
Yeah, very podunk for sure. So I think that and that's again kind of what I was going at with, like, he's sort of missing the excitement and, like, because when he was getting that also from his job, not just from killing, like, so.
Yeah. What I'd like to see in this show at some point is, it's probably behind the scenes, him by himself and analyzing blood splatter.
Oh, absolutely. I would love that. Yeah.
In some capacity, I want to bring his forensics background into how he's solving things or figuring things out, Whether or not we'll see, like, Masuka or Batista, right? Was the other cop's name? The one who lets him go for some fucking reason. After he's murdered Oliver Saxon in police custody. So stupid. Yeah. But I don't feel like it's needed. I think that would be too much. I think they're not necessary. They're not needed at all. I don't think I'd want to see them.
I mean, unless, I don't think they're needed, but I think it would be interesting and kind of cool to see. But I'm
cool
more
to see, but we'll see
curious
how
about
it fits
newer
the story.
characters,
Absolutely,
and kind of going further with his, with the story.
We want new blood.
We want new blood, exactly.
Yeah,
but really cool first episode for sure.
Absolutely,
yeah,
really happy. It's great to see Dexter back, and strong. This feels more like that season 3 to 5 area where Dexter was really strong.
Yes,
and it was a character we loved, and just getting that narration and that we're so familiar with, that Joe from You has kind of taken on to himself, that very Dexter-esque. But this is like the return of the real Dexter. Joe from You is Dexter-like for sure. A lot of it's done through him. It's his show. It's his perspective. It's narration through him. Except for he's more of a stalker than a serial killer. But it's very Dexter-like. But it's good to see the king return.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, very excited for the next episode, and we'll talk about that next week. Bye.